telling, and I'm still moved when I think about the great story that he told yesterday about us at the event yesterday. And so I'm really looking forward to the new story that he's going to tell us today about, assuming the projector will do his bidding. So.
It worked over lunch. What did Iñaki do with the projector? Okay, here we are.
So I'll leave the floor to Olle. Thank you.
That's scary. I need your microphone, by the way. And suddenly, here I am. Isn't that awesome? Hang on, I'll just return back to where I started. Hi, hello Gordon. What are you doing up there? This is not about code. This is not about SFUs and all of that. This is about damage that we as a collective has been causing for a long time. I have been part of this, and I wonder if I am going to still be around for the fixing. Let's see where we're going with this. This is me. As Lorenzo said, I've been adding code here and there. I'm a consultant, trainer, amateur gardener, dog owner, and a storyteller. I lie a lot. But I didn't lie yesterday, and I hopefully will stay truthful today, at least a bit. What you didn't know is that I'm a time traveler. You don't believe me. I'm traveling at the rate of 3,600 seconds an hour forward right now. Still don't believe me. Hang on, I'll just make a short jump back to the beginning of this presentation. And I'm back. Isn't that awesome? I can also travel ahead of you into the future. And in the future, I found this problem. I don't know if all of you see the problem, but let me take you back a bit. Time traveling can also be bothersome because you see some of the truth out there. In 2050, I'm still trying to fix security in the SIP protocol. Yeah, it's a bothersome work. Iñaki is still creating new open source projects. Amazing. Saul is working 4-dimensional meeting capability in Jitsi. That's cool. And other things are still happening. We'll see. Time traveling is hard. Traveling is hard. This is my home. It's a lake where I live. It's in Sollentuna, Sweden. Just outside Stockholm, between Stockholm and the airport mainly. It's beautiful in the summer. I have no interest in showing you pictures on wintertime. Some of you know Sweden like this, right? Okay. I hope some of you know Sweden like this. Okay, cool. I have you with me. Telephony, the +4-6 of this world. Where did it all start? Do you remember? The idea was actually not talking to each other. It was to get more people to be able to enjoy music concerts locally. The addition of bidirectional calls between people was just something that happened. Wasn't planned that way. And in Sweden, we got the small islands of telephony. We got the Stockholm Telephony Company, the Gothenburg Telephony Company, the Säffle Telephone Company, and this happened in many places of the world. And in this case, you lifted the receiver and you asked the lady, because it was always a lady in her home, to connect you somewhere else. And the small islands got connections. So I could sit in Sollentuna and I place a call to Gothenburg, but I had to request a call from the operator, and there were only a few lines, and they charged extra for those using those lines. So we had isolated islands, then we got a few very limited connections between them. This is an original telephone, and that was an add-on you bought later, because you could actually request a call yourself without hooking up to the lady. She was still listening, of course. But you could actually dial a number. It didn't start with numbers. Numbers came later. In Sweden, the government started producing these links between cities, and then they began to take over the local phone companies. We never had a monopoly by law, which was kind of interesting when someone much, much later tried to start a new phone company in Sweden, because we all believed that we had monopoly by law. There was no law. The government just swiped the market and controlled all of telephony with the National Telephone Company of Sweden. So it was a government takeover that forced us to have one shared resource, one common network where we could all connect. We could call each other, and we had a very few lines to the other countries. And all these countries and some vendors met in a gentleman's club, and they made agreements on how to do things, and they branded them standards. And that's how we ended up with the +46 number system, the E164 number system, and a lot of other things that we're still trying to leave behind, like ISDN and other old technologies, right? But the Gentleman's Club gave phone numbers, country codes, area codes, divided the world in small pizza slices, with or without pineapple. So what happens now? In Sweden, fixed phone lines to the home, phone numbers to houses are going down dramatically. Phone calls during the last 20 years have gone from, "Hi, is Olle at home?" to, "Hi Olle, where are you?" You don't call a house, you call a person. And fixed line phones going down. We have still a phone number that used to be our fixed line phone number. We kind of jump when someone calls it. We have a phone in the kitchen, a SIP phone connected to my network, and it's like, yeah, it's probably someone trying to sell us something. Let's continue looking at TV. The edges are dying. And the kids, if you talk with the kids, my kids have been like this. "Hey, I tried chatting with Dad, and you know what? He called me back." I'm the only one calling them on their cell phones. Feeling old. And I guess the phone numbers to their cell phones will be more and more secret. There's no need to share it with their friends. They have other handles, other ways of finding each other, connecting, communicating. We need to follow the kids. And then we follow the geeks when the kids grow older. We have all these networks. I have all these icons on my cell phone, and it's like, oh, Lorenzo, I need to chat with Lorenzo. Was he using Was he using the blue app or the red app or the little rabbit app, or he was doing something strange Italian, maybe the Pizzacom app, I don't know. You find the app and then you find your friend. No, that's stupid. So we're back. Now we have small WebRTC islands in the sun with no connection between them. Consider the phone system dead and gone. Put that in your head for a while. Let's time travel together. The phone system, the number plan is gone. It's populated by call centers and telemarketers calling each other, trying to sell stuff to each other, right? So it's dead. What do we do? What do we print on our business cards? How do we reach each other? I can't have a business card listing my 50 different handles in different communication islands. No way, Jose. So, this is the question I really want you to discuss the rest of this conference and all day tomorrow. Sorry, David. So, federation. We did it with email. We did it with the web. Interoperability and federation. Is it possible to do again without getting all that spam in? Is there a business model for federation? How do we trust each other? How do we trust this session to be authentic? What is our global identity? And the one thing that's not on the slide, but of course should be there, IPv6. Okay. My dear old friend from the XMPP community said this, and I believe it's true. Federate or die. That's a simple truth. We need to federate, or the islands will stay isolated and something else will take over, probably coming from the gentleman's club again. And that's not what we want. But that will be a solution for the governments. So, the missing part in my business card I showed you earlier, my future business card, is the phone number. The phone number will be gone. But look at it again and see what you see. There's something on there where you can reach me all the time. Thank you very much.
Excellent and excellent presentation, Olle. Do we have any questions for Olle?
Iñaki, of course.
Yeah. So why do we need a single global identity, and why not 2 or 3? I mean, I don't want to be the same profile when I talk to my friends and when I talk to professionals in my working area or things like that. Why just
well,
one?
If you need 3, I probably need 6 because I have so many split personalities. So you're perfectly right. We need some sort of handle. I mean, I have 10,000 phone numbers I give out to different places. So you're right. It shouldn't be one single, but we should have one shared way of finding each other. And you're allowed to have multiple personas even for the next conference.
So one of the advocates against federation, quite vocal, was Moxie Martins, please, the Signal guy.
Yeah.
What would you say? Sort of, because they do have quite a big platform. I do understand some of his criticism, but what would be your rebuttal, if you have any?
He's wrong. I do believe in a distributed internet, and that assumes interoperable standards. And we're heading another direction, mostly driven, I think, by venture capital, which is really heavily emphasizing owning your customer and controlling your customer, and Federation goes against that. You can no longer own your customer, but you have to be the best provider for that customer at all time, meaning we put competition back into the marketplace. Adrian.
I strongly disagree with you.
Fun. We're going to have a cool afternoon and next day.
About the fact that parents should follow their children. I think it's the other way around.
Ouch.
Any more questions?
Jan.
Or comments or joke?
Maybe less of a question than more a comment. And I also think that federation is very important, but probably for a different reason, because outside from this room, when we talk about non-technical people, they just simply don't care about the technology. So I bring the dreaded my mother argument, but for her it's no difference if she calls me via phone or via WhatsApp. She just presses a button on the phone and she talks to me. And that's, yeah, actually basically what we need to think about and why federation is important. Because really nobody wants to use 10 different apps and 10 different whatever. You basically just want to talk to people.
And you're in a mother lock-in. You can't leave WhatsApp because then you leave your mother behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a
actually
problem.
a valid concern. If you don't want to use WhatsApp because it's basically Facebook and you don't like how Facebook acts, and then on the other hand you have your family in a WhatsApp group on Facebook where everything is shared, you cannot easily leave that.
And the investors will be happy.
Yeah.
I have a small, possibly controversial question of my own, just to try and do the devil's advocate here and try to think about the non-federating guy.
Is he allowed to do that? Okay.
I think one of the arguments may be, why should I federate with people? Because one might assume that basically federating means agreeing on a common set of rules, stuff that we all can do, and basically do that properly. But if they want to say, but I want to do shiny thing number 2, and I cannot do that because it breaks interoperability with other guys that need to federate with me and so on. So do you see this as a valid argument? Do you see federation as possibly something that can stifle innovation, or do you see actually this as a non-point?
I'm deeply, deeply, deeply disappointed in you, Lorenzo.
I'm the devil's advocate.
We need to start all over again with IETF meetings, because look at many of the protocols where you have a base level of interoperability, which is a must to implement. And then you have extensions that you often negotiate about. And you can still add your own sexy, cool extensions. Saul can add his 4-dimensional extension to WebRTC. And if I don't support it, we'll probably go back to good old ISDN, G711, ALO. But we can still communicate. So there are technical ways to solving that. But what I'm after is a universal address plan and a way to reach everyone on the isolated islands. Because I want to isolate myself on a warm, nice island as I retire.
I'm curious as to your thoughts on projects like Matrix, their federated protocol that they use and that seems to be growing rapidly. Any thoughts on that?
Matrix is amazing. I have been working with these guys and following them for a long time. Even at the Camellia World Conference, I sat with Matthew trying desperately to hack before his presentation a way to connect Matrix to Camellia. We ran out of time and we ran out of beer, but both being a problem. But Matrix, yes, unfortunately, it's not, I would say, standard protocol as of now, but they do have the federation built in from day one, which I really admire.
Do you think it helps that they've started this new Matrix Foundation to keep it to try to standardize that protocol for federation?
I do hope.
Any more questions for Olle? Then let's give one more round of applause for Olle. Thank you. And we can all enjoy a coffee break for now. So let's come back here in